It is the Clips of the Year show. You're not going to want to miss this one. Stay tuned. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live, and it starts right now.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Might be the only brown guy in Earth named Jobob.
That is actually her name, Jobob.
Live from a dingy bunker, completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live on the last show of the year. Today it is December 31st, the year of our Lord 2021. There's still a couple hours for everything to go back to normal, which is what we were promised this time last year. But we got a great show for you today. It's the Clips of the Year show. There's not really any breaking news, so that's good. The Omicron variant is probably not going to kill anybody or very few people, according to pretty much everyone, so that's good. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about the Clips of the Year, taking a fond look back at the entire year, or at least the entire year that we were doing this show. We came on into September, so that's where we're going to start. So without further ado, let's get things underway. Take a look at this, September of 2021. This is all that, look, we're just going to sit back and watch some of these because I think it's going to be a fun time. This is September 2021, Clips of the Year. Check it out.
San Francisco Mayor London Breed is under fire after video has come to light that shows her maskless, dancing and singing during a live indoor performance by the 90s R&B group Tony.
I was feeling the spirit, and I wasn't thinking about a mask. I'm vaccinated. I don't need to wear a mask and take a picture every single time. I don't want to. So the fact that this is even a story is sad.
To transport supplies over to that side, that's the U.S. side. That's Del Rio, Texas, and we've never seen really anything like this. But this is they're going back and forth, and the border is wide open.
The thing that I found most profoundly interesting about this speech, 30 minutes long, China was not directly mentioned, not once.
Okay, so what voter ID laws are racist?
Apologies, Mr. Cruz, your state of Texas.
And like all religions, it has its own sacraments, its own sacred texts. It's the cult of coronavirus.
I will be signing an executive order to give me the emergency powers necessary to address the shortages where they occur. That's going to allow me to deploy the National Guard, who are medically trained.
I understand that the climate emergency is very uncomfortable. It's not something that makes you popular.
I've had COVID in the past, and so our understanding of antibodies, of natural immunity has changed a great deal from the onset of the pandemic, and is still evolving.
Later that same day, on 8 January, Speaker of the House Pelosi called me to inquire about the president's ability to launch nuclear weapons.
The 300,000 troops we had trained and equipped was going to just collapse. They were going to give up. I don't think anybody anticipated that.
I also have a view that the withdrawal of those forces would lead inevitably to the collapse of the Afghan military forces and eventually the Afghan government.
How do you define racism?
Sure. So racism, I would define it as a collection of racist policies that lead to racial inequity that are substantiated by racist ideas.
Democrats were trying to get caught up. Wow, this is a long
Greg Stubbe with the first pitch and the first swing is going to be a home run. Stubbe out of the ballpark.
And you do the math, that's $1.4 billion for every page.
Oh my goodness. That was September of 2021. Again, we could do an entire year in review, but we've only been on the air since the middle of September, so that's where we're going to start. But holy cow, let me know in the comment section. If you haven't already, I think people would enjoy this. Kind of just a fond look back at the year that was. Click the little like button right here, the laughing button, whatever it is, the little emoji thing, and click the share button. Helps us get to more people, helps us stay on the air. But that was September. Let me know in the comment sections what was your favorite part of that. There's so many things that happened back. London Breed in San Francisco. Tony was playing. I didn't want to wear a mask. I was feeling the spirit. Absolutely ridiculous nonsense there. The whole Build Back Better thing at the very end, you saw that $3.5 trillion thing, and it's now we know that that's not going to happen, so that's awesome. What else was in there? You had Ibram X. Kendi. Now, that didn't happen in September of 2021, but that's when we kind of came to light, defining racism and the whole CRT movement. Holy cow, that couldn't have gotten any worse. Tucker saying that COVID is now the religion of the American left, which clearly turned out to be true. But that was September, a year look back. We've got November. October is after September. I passed the first grade. I know which months are next. But October, I got a little bit carried away. So October, we had to break up into two different segments. October of 2021 was a little ridiculous. So we're going to roll on with these clips of the year. Again, let me know in the comment section what part is your favorite, because I don't know. I think a lot of this is hilarious. Again, click the little like button, click the little share button. Again, we're having a party. It's the end of the year, last show of the year. Check this out. October 2021, part 1.
I've never been a liberal in any way, shape, or the form. There's no one who's ever thought I was.
So whoever the doesn't like the United States of America, may God bless you, but you at the same time. If you don't like the United States of America, go back to the countries that we the from, and you'll see how much you appreciate the United States of America.
And found that the vaccinated group was actually 7 times more likely to get infected with COVID than the people who had gotten COVID naturally.
You know, Margaret, it's just too soon to tell.
A statewide requirement for in-person instruction for all of our children.
Who is that?
Joe Biden.
Is who?
Joe Biden.
Hey, Joe went out bad. We need a Build Back Better plan right now.
We knocked on doors. We need solutions to the Build Back Better plan.
When somebody is naturally immune, like they got COVID, they probably have better, like not better, but more antibodies against the virus.
For a while, it was almost 5 million a day between DOD and DHS to not build the border wall. There's
wait. 5 million a day to not build the wall.
To not build a wall.
Even though they have all the stuff,
there are stacks and stacks of border wall panels. There's hundreds of miles of fiber optic cabling. There's hundreds of cameras that were being installed with that are just sitting.
Who would you say is more dangerous, the Taliban or Texas Republicans?
Texas Republicans, because this is our country.
Texas Republicans.
Oh, okay.
Every day.
Let's listen in. He's speaking in Illinois right now.
And the Ohio, Pennsylvania. I'm from Pennsylvania. The Illinois president of the Don Harmon, State Senator Laura Murphy, State Rep Martin Moylan.
We'll never apologize for standing up for an LGBTQ2 plus kids' rights.
I am not saying that to say that trans women aren't women. I am just saying that those that they got, you know what I mean?
And when you get finished with those jeans and decide you don't like them, give them to me. I'm going to make 2 pairs.
Barbara.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have my young and wild, but can't take my free.
Southwest canceled almost a third of its schedule, blaming cancellations on air traffic control issues and weather out of Florida.
These requirements work.
Attention in the terminal. Nolan Davis.
In school.
So how do you define it?
Anita, it is not taught here in Virginia.
But how do you define it?
Doesn't matter.
Are you kidding? The head of the Space Council is the vice president.
Never let anybody tell you who you are. You tell them who you are.
Just around. Nobody's wearing them. Nobody's. There you go, including the cameraman. Yeah. Katie.
Captain Cruz not wearing.
Striking.
That's a lie that they're conscious of. This is not a mistake. But don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? You know that they know that I took medicine.
Well, I don't.
Dude.
What did they say?
They lied and said I was taking horse dewormer.
Ivermectin is a drug that is commonly used
as a horse dewormer.
Truender dash dubba de pressure. Truender dash dubba de pressure. President Biden, go.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
That is the first half of October. That's only 15 days. That's 2 weeks in October. We had all of those things happen. At the very end, we saw the Joe Rogan ivermectin thing, which they're still on that train. The whole Joe Rogan was taking horse dewormer. I think CNN, so the clip we played after that, if you remember, was Don Lemon after all of that, still piggybacking on the whole, well, it's a horse deworming drug, even though nobody actually believes that anymore. The rankings came out late 2 weeks ago. CNN, their first top-rated show on there was ranked 27th. So you had to go all the way down to number 27th to find the first CNN show. And guess whose it was? It was Chris Cuomo, who doesn't work there anymore. But that's part of the reason why CNN is absolutely failing. Kamala's kids, remember the space program when Kamala hired children actors to pretend they were excited to see her? Oh my gosh, it's Kamala Harris. Where's my paycheck and royalty fee? That was ridiculous. They tried to cancel Dave Chappelle for a pretty honest and heartfelt conversation he was having with the American people in his last Netflix special. Holy cow, that was a heck of a 2 weeks, but we're going to continue rolling on with the second half of October. If you need to go, if you've got to get to work or leave your house or do whatever you need to do, you can rewatch this all on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're watching this. Again, if you haven't already, just hit the little like button thing and hit the little share button thing. We're having a good time. It's the end of the year and a Clips of the Year show. Trying to get to most people as possible so they can have some enjoyment at the end of the year. Remember, this is the year where everything changes, everything gets back to normal. This is the second half of the month of October. Watch this.
We have great confidence in our son. I am not concerned about any accusations been made against him.
There's no evidence that Hunter Biden has done anything wrong.
There is no evidence of any wrongdoing between by Joe Biden, or by Hunter Biden.
There's no evidence that Joe Biden actually did anything wrong or did anything to sway things in Hunter Biden's favor.
First quotes I lead off with is this quote from G.K. Chesterton. He said, the world has become too absurd to be satirized. And he said that back in 1911.
Let's go, Brandon. You know what I mean?
In 22 months into 2 weeks to slow the curve.
I am honored to serve as the first female 4-star officer of the U.S. Public Health Service Commissioned Corps.
Well, Sean, it's a big deal. You know, for so long, big tech has suppressed conservative voices.
Those who just try to make this a political issue. Freedom. I have the freedom to kill you with my COVID. No, I mean, come on. Freedom.
And I say it with a passion as I pull off in the Aston. Don't nobody like his ass, huh? To cover up and tell the people, go, Brandon.
You know, when you're president, see all these people here? They're with you all the time. They get to ask you all kinds of questions, and you try to figure out how you can avoid answering them.
According to the Journal, the administration plans to, quote, offer immigrant families that were separated during the Trump administration around $450,000 a person in compensation.
That was the second half of the month of October. Again, holy cow, October was a jam-packed month. And that was actually probably the time where we had the most viewership going on. And I think that's because the news cycle was so freakishly crazy. That's when Joe Biden was given that town hall and said, freedom? What about your freedom? How about patriotism? Get the shot, or that's patriotic, even though the CDC itself, again, I sound like a broken freaking record, but the CDC themselves said, yeah, we don't actually think that this protects anybody else. It protects you, and that's about it. What else happened? The whole Let's Go Brandon theme started. The NASCAR race where the reporter from NBC was saying, they're chanting. What is it that they're chanting? You all know what they were chanting. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah, let's go, Brandon. That's where that whole thing started in the month of October. The Let's Go, Brandon theme songs then started coming out. We saw a piece of that. Also, Joe Biden in a classroom with a bunch of kids said, yeah, those people are the media, and we try to avoid them as much as possible. Lori Lightfoot got booed. And remember the whole $450,000 for illegal immigrants coming into the United States under the Trump administration? Now, they've since backed down from that, obviously, but that was actually a thing that people in the Biden administration were pushing at one point. This is November. I'm not sure. I think so due to some technical difficulties with how we operate the show and run the hard drives and keep all the clips and all that sort of stuff, November's a little bit shorter, but nevertheless, still pretty dang impactful. Lots of things happened in November. We'll discuss it at the end of the break. Look, again, this is a relaxed show today. Again, click the little like button, click the little share button. Helps us get out to more people. We're having a fun time. It's the end of the year, 2021. This is November of 2021. Check it out.
We're going to win. I think we're going to win in Virginia.
NBC News has determined that when all the votes are in, Glenn Youngkin is the governor-elect of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
That what you are looking at is the American dream. The American dream.
But a white idea through the running on the runway of the tongue of a figure who justifies and legitimates the white supremacist practices.
And bipartisan infrastructure framework recognizes the interconnectedness of climate change and gender justice.
But that obviously reflects racism that went into those design choices.
Driving up prices here in America. And the irony is people have more money now because of the first major piece of legislation I passed.
His image as a trigger-happy vigilante who went on a shooting rampage.
Do you think kids should be able to vote?
No. If they got a chance to vote, they might make a wrong choice. You have to grow up and think everything through before you start to vote.
If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. Have the shells, a 12-gauge shotgun. Put that double-barrel shotgun and fire 2 blasts outside the house.
Good advice, Joe. Thank you so much for that.
Come on, man.
But help is on the way, or maybe this will make it worse. I don't know.
White supremacists is here.
We don't need white.
Pushing that, they think that they want to push and pressure the jury or pressure the court to hold Kyle Rittenhouse accountable.
Well, it's not going to be overnight. We can't just flip a switch and make it better.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
After a massive smash-and-grab crime last night, about 80 people wearing masks rushed into a Nordstrom's outside of San Francisco.
It's about 18 million, which would suggest you're releasing less than 3 days' worth of supply from the Petroleum Reserve.
But they're really criticizing science, because I represent science.
That one was probably, that clip is honestly probably my favorite. Dr. Fauci saying, I am the science. I represent science. Criticizing me is criticizing science because I am science. Good, hilarious, but also scary. What else happened? The Rittenhouse case, all of November was taken up by the Rittenhouse case. Obviously, Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted on all of the charges that he was charged with. Clearly self-defense, so there was that. A huge cultural shift in the United States. We saw Joy Reid's show, people just completely lying about stuff. Oh, the governor of Virginia race, which was a huge, I think, indication of what people want in this country in terms of we don't want critical race theory in our schools. We want schools to open up. So that was a huge indication of what's happening there. Kamala Harris said that we can't flip a switch, make the border better overnight. Except for the fact that if I was in charge, I think, and if anyone here was in charge, you could have flipped a switch and made it better pretty much overnight. From the time that she said that, it could have been fixed. Again, 1 month later. Also, this is a big thing. This is an actual thing that I think matters, and I think we shouldn't really let go. Nobody up to this point has been arrested for trying to push and pressure the jury in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. We saw that clip from Joy Reid's show where the MSNBC reporter said, yeah, the people in the crowd said they were trying to push and pressure the jury into a verdict that was more favorable to the woke mob. Nobody, to my knowledge, has been arrested yet for that. Again, that's hugely illegal, and we cannot tolerate that in the United States of America. But I don't know. Is anybody going to get arrested for it? Probably not. We're going to continue to roll on. This is December, the year of our Lord 2021, the year when everything is going to get better. Again, if you haven't, click the little like button or the laughing button, because this is just a funny, lighthearted look back at the year, or at least the 4 months that we've been doing this show. Click the little like button right here. Click. It helps us reach more people, helps us stay on the air, keep doing this, bring you the clips of next year, a year from today, and then hit the little share button over here. Really helps us out. Really appreciate it. But this is 2021, December, the year 2021. As I'm thinking about it right now, just FYI, I'm now remembering I didn't put the best clip in there. So if you realize that something is missing, let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you can guess the clip that I'm now regretful that I didn't put into this compilation. But nevertheless, let's continue to roll on. This is December 2021 in review.
It's called a diplomatic boycott. It means that the U.S. would not be sending official government representatives to the Olympics.
Mayor Lightfoot saying some retailers are not doing their part to protect their own stores.
I'm disappointed that they're not doing more to take safety and make it a priority.
Or was that Putin had not made a decision over whether to invade Ukraine? So did President Biden get clarity from him on whether or not that is his intention?
So I would prefer, and we all would prefer, that people would be voluntarily getting vaccinated. But if they're not going to do that, sometimes you've got to do things that are unpopular.
Is a strong bipartisan rebuke of President Biden's vaccine mandates. The Senate voting to overturn the rule requiring private businesses to have their employees be vaccinated or tested regularly. And as hard as it might be to imagine, your daughter will grow up and become the President of the United States.
My message to anybody considering coming to Los Angeles, especially during the holiday season, is don't.
A sobering and somewhat terrifying statement from the LA Police Protective League.
All that I know is that the intensity of the weather across the board has some impacts as a consequence of the warming of the planet and the climate change.
This is going to be our new normal, and the effects that we're seeing from climate change are the crisis of our generation.
It is a fake score about a bill that doesn't exist, and we should really focus on the actual bill everybody's going to vote on and considering in Congress.
And so everybody talks about freedom and not to have a shot or have a test. Well, guess what? So how about patriotism? How about making sure that you're vaccinated so you do not spread the disease to anybody else? What about that? What's the big deal?
To be more aggressive with law enforcement, more aggressive with the changes in our policies, and less tolerant of all the bullshit that has destroyed our city.
So that was December 2021. Anybody in the comment section? Well, David I think was referring to Jussie Smollett of the clip that I probably forgot. Yeah, there wasn't many Jussie Smollett clips that were made it onto the actual show, so we didn't really have those, but that's a good one. No, the clip that I forgot was Joe Biden on the phone with a Portland dad tracking Santa when the Portland dad said, "Let's go, Brandon." Joe Biden agreed with him and said, "Yes, let's go, Brandon." That is the clip that didn't make it into the show for some reason. But look at this. There's a bunch of stuff that's going to continue to happen over the next year. Stuff that's going to roll on into next year that were in these clips is the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. Vladimir Putin, again, has 200,000 troops along the border of Ukraine, and we don't really know what's going to happen. Joe Biden had a call with him yesterday, 2 days ago. We don't really know what happened in that call. Jen Psaki released a statement yesterday. Again, we're not talking about that right now because it's a fun show. It's clips of the year. But that's going to roll on into next year. And also next year, we've got the Winter Olympics in Beijing that the United States is still going to send athletes to, and the rest of the world is still going to send athletes to, regardless of the fact that Beijing and China have completely decimated the entire world for the last 2 years. We're going to give them a platform. So all of those things are going to continue to roll on into the next year. But in typical fashion of the ending of the year, we want to remember some American, I don't want to say lives. I'm trying to make a joke here. We want to recognize some things that were lost. Most importantly, the Build Back Better plan. We lost the Build Back Better plan this year, and unfortunately, it met its tragic demise in the Christmas season. The United States will not be building back into Venezuela, thanks to Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia. So we mourn the loss of the president's biggest agenda point. We mourn the loss of Joe Biden's landmark bill that never came to fruition, thanks to Joe Manchin of West Virginia in the year 2021. That's going to do it for us for the year, guys. We're done. We're done for the year. Again, we weren't supposed to be here in the first place, but we decided, hey, there's too much stuff going on. We want to do a Clips of the Year show. We're going to come back on the air this week, but we'll see you Monday. And we'll see you next year. Wow, that's cliche. Working on my dad jokes. We'll see you next year, guys. That's going to do it for us today and for the year. Appreciate everybody who's been tuning in for the last couple months. Again, we're still in our infancy stages of this show. Been around for 4 months doing Daily Caller Live. It's been a huge blessing for me to be able to do this show, to be able to talk to you each and every day and interact with people from all over the country about what's going on in their neck of the woods and how, we need to see the country change for the better, hopefully. But again, really, really appreciate everybody sticking around with us for the whole part of the year. And I'm really looking forward to next year. So on behalf of myself, everybody at Daily Caller Live and Daily Caller as an organization, wish you the happiest of New Year's. Stay safe out there. Have a great New Year's Eve, and we'll see you on Monday in the year 2022. God bless America.